So if you want to know how to do subtitles, I'm showing you just right here how to do that. So you go under the video, you click on CC, or also on another section, you're going to see how to do that. And then you choose the language that you want. So you choose Arabic, French, so that you can understand and you can have subtitles, okay? And if you understand me without subtitles, that's also really good. You can do like a challenge. I'm not doing subtitles in Arabic anymore, just to see if your level is great or not. Today, I'm going to share with you 9 or 8 steps, how you can master your English like a native. All right? I'm not telling you like I'm speaking like a native speaker, but you know, I speak well and I can understand people, because the goal right here is all about being able to communicate with people and being able to understand them. So in today's video, this is what I'm going to share with you: 8 steps to master English. Keep watching the video. Hello you guys, how are you doing today? I hope that you are doing good and extremely well, and welcome back to another new video. If you are new to this channel, I want to say welcome to our family. My name is Ines, and what I do in this channel is that I help you to learn English with simple tips and ways. So if you want to encourage me, don't forget to subscribe into the channel and give me a thumbs up, and maybe share the video with every single person who wants to learn English. And also, I have an Instagram account, right? I have an Instagram account where I'm like much more present right there. If you want to know me more, I'm present in Instagram. And so let's start. The first step that I want you to do is to set realistic goals. So guys, keep watching until the end of the video, because all of the steps are related to each other. And so I think that you have to know them all so that the knowledge should be completed, all right? So the first step, as I told you, is setting a realistic goal. Why? First of all, it should be realistic, all right? So if you are a beginner, your goal is not to be maybe fluent in English, because it's gonna take for you a lot of years, right? To be honest, we have to be realistic. If you are a beginner, your goal maybe this year is to know the basics, to know how to form phrases and sentences, to know more about common expressions. But if you are, for example, an intermediate student, so your realistic goal could be about fluency, about knowing more like the American culture or British culture. It's two different cultures actually, but your goal should be really realistic so that you don't give up in the middle of your journey, right? Because if you're not realistic about it, you're going to give up so quickly, believe me, because you're like having this pressure. So just set a realistic and simple goal. Goals are usually going to give you motivation, going to boost you. If you don't set a clear goal for you, you're not going like to know, where am I going actually? Where am I going? So you need a program, you need a goal, you know, like my goal this year is to achieve fluency. Something not big, but it's a goal. Another thing that can really help you in your listening journey is to listen to natural conversation, or to natural English conversations. Of course, you're watching me right here, but sometimes I have the intention to speak slowly so that you can understand me. I also use some simple vocabulary because I'm an English teacher, so I want you to understand me, right? But you can listen a lot to English conversations, natural conversations. This is why I think that I accelerate on my learning journey, because I was watching a lot of and consuming a lot of movies. Movies shows you not only like their language, the real natural conversations, but also the culture. If you are watching Harry Potter, for example, you're going to discover their culture. Well, it's imaginary, but you're going to discover some cultures. Also, if you watch American movies, you're going to discover their culture and to discover the real English conversations. Don't be frustrated. Sorry, because in the beginning, you're not going to understand anything, all right? You know me, guys. I just always want to be as honest as I can. I don't want to lie to you, honestly. So in the beginning, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging, right? As I told you the last time, tell yourself it's challenging, but I'm willing to do my best. And so, yeah. You should to listen a lot and a lot and a lot. And I think once you listen to, I don't know how many movies, you are going to discover that the words are just repeated over and over. In each and every film, the words are repeated and the expressions are the same. So just be patient in the beginning. And then, of course, I'm assuring you that you're going to see the results. Once you set this goal, the second step should be to engage in listening. Engage in regular listening practice. It could be with podcasts, it could be with movies, it could be with songs, but you should practice. You should encourage yourself to practice listening, because this is how I started. My journey of learning English all started by listening. I wasn't even being able to speak, but I started by listening. I was listening a lot, consuming content a lot, and consuming especially movies a lot. Also, you should relate what you really like in your learning journey in English, right? So as I always tell you, if you like, for example, cooking, so you should relate cooking, like maybe you should watch and listen to cooking videos, or if you like football and sports, you should watch about sport and football. You should relate actually something that you like, because it's going to give you this dopamine. The dopamine is that feeling of high motivation, you know? And so I think that it's important to relate something that you like, so that you can watch. And I think like your intention in the beginning is not going to be like, I'm going to watch or to listen to a podcast, for instance, in order to understand every single word. Your goal is just to get familiar with the language. And I told you this a lot of times, all right? So a lot of times in my previous videos, that you just have to get familiar with the language, because if you focus on like, I have to understand every single word, it's gonna be hard for you, and it's not gonna be as enjoyable as you were expecting. So the advice for me or for you right here is to just listen a lot, consume a lot, and don't have or this attention to learn every single word. Just enjoy the story, enjoy the global general idea of that video, right? Nowadays, we have social media, you guys. I think that in my Instagram feed, you are going to see that maybe 50% of the people that I follow 50% of them are American or English, or they speak in English, 50%. So that I get used to it, and I watch their stories every day. I watch their stories, every day in English. So this is a way how to surround yourself in English. I have a lot of social, influencers to recommend to you. Maybe I'm gonna put it right here so that you see the accounts, and just to see how their life is going, and in the same time you're surrounding yourself with English. The third step should be to immerse yourself with the language. When I say immerse yourself, that means that you have to surround yourself with an English environment. Okay, you're going to tell me, I'm not living in an English country. Well, I'm not living in an English country too. I'm living in France, but I surround myself. I make sure that my environment is like full of English, right? So by listening, for example, and also trying to make conversations, trying the shadowing method, trying to I told you that, like, I'm a crazy person. I talk a lot with myself while I'm cleaning, while I'm doing the dishes. I'm like imagining a situation and I'm starting just to talk with myself. What is this? Okay. I know I'm crazy, but believe me, the more you surround yourself with English, the more you're going to accelerate your learning journey. For example, I remember that every time I was going to college, I was every single morning listening to a podcast, to a motivational video or something in English. And that really helped me to build vocabulary and to build a lot of stuffs. The fourth step, you should know that reading is also important. I remember from a very young girl, from when I was a really young girl, I was reading a lot, especially when, for example, I really like something. I remember that I was in high school. I liked a speech called Have a Dream from Nelson Mandela or Martin Luther King. I'm sorry. So this speech, I just like every evening, I remember I was like reading it out loud. Reading helps you to get the right pronunciation. I have a lot of students. If you don't know, I have a school online where I give courses around the world, and like all of my students, they tell me like, Ines, my problem is about speaking. I want to unstuck my speaking language, and this is the aim. This is what I do in my school, is that I help you to practice and to unstuck this speaking thing. So, and sometimes we have to do reading and they tell me, no, but I want to practice. Reading is not important. Reading is really important. First of all, when you have to speak, you need vocabulary. How are you going to be able to speak? You're going to be able to speak by vocabulary. How are you going to learn vocabulary? It's by reading, right? And also we practice pronunciation. We practice, training about this pronunciation. When he or she pronounced the word maybe not really good, I'm going to help her to pronounce it well. So reading is important to discover vocabulary and to develop your pronunciation. Sometimes it could also help you to understand the context and the culture, especially the context, because I noticed that the more I read and the more I'm with my students helping them to read, we discover a lot of words, a lot of vocabulary. And most of the time, one vocabulary, one word can have a lot of meanings, right? So you discover the meanings, a lot of meanings in a certain context. So this is really really interesting. Reading, you guys, is interesting. The fifth step right here is going to be about writing regularly. Writing regularly. Again, with my students, we practice also writing. We usually practice what we called journaling. I really like journaling. What is journaling? Journaling is just writing about your day. How was your day? Or maybe about yesterday. And I tell my students to write for me and to try to express their opinions and their feelings, because writing is going to help you to organize your thoughts. Sometimes when you try to speak, you can't have this, your ideas are just not so clear, but when you write, it helps you organize and find those words and organize your thoughts and express your feelings, your opinions, and also helps you to do something that is called the active recall. Active recall means when, sometimes when you write, you repeat, especially journaling, because you're writing about your days. So sometimes you're going to repeat the same expressions and the same words. This is active recall. You're activating your brain, and this is why sometimes you're like, oh, I remember that word. I remember that word. And writing is going to really help you to speak, because sometimes when you want to speak, as I told you, you don't find the words or a particular word, but while writing, you're going to find it. And the more you write it, the more you're going to remember it. And when your brain, your subconscious mind is going to absorb that information, believe me that it's just in your brain and you're never going to forget it, and you're going to be able to use it and to speak with it. Remember, we started by a goal, then by listening, then by reading, then writing, and this is the time. It's the sixth step. It's about speaking a lot. Practice a lot. Speak. Writing is the active recall, and after that, it's going to help you to speak. So reading helps you to find vocabulary. Writing helps you to actually not forget that vocabulary. And then practice. Speak a lot. Speak with yourself, in front of the camera, in front of the mirror, with someone. The shadowing method. Every single method that can help you to speak, right? I have a lot of students that have a really great level in listening, but because they are used to listen. But when it comes to speaking, they have a problem. Why? Because they didn't practice a lot. And right here, there's no secret. The recipe is speaking a lot. Sometimes something that can really help you is to teach someone. Try to teach someone, in English of course, about something that you just learned. It could be about, about sport, cooking, drawing, singing, or even maybe a rule in English, but try to teach someone, because when you teach someone, it's like you're confirming your thoughts in your brain. Teaching someone, there's no better way to learn English and teaching it to someone else, right? Because when you're teaching it to someone else, it's like you're repeating. The more you repeat, the more you learn. In the beginning, it's going to be challenging, maybe a little bit hard. You're not going to find the words. You're going to search them in your head. But with the time, you're going to overcome this fear. Because sometimes I just notice that the problem with one of my students is not like speaking, is the fear, and is being like shy, to tell. Maybe he told himself like, I'm not that good in English. I'm bad in English. My English is bad. Do you remember the last video? So no, instead of that, the thing that can unstuck your speaking language is just to overcome this fear. How you are going to overcome this fear is by practicing and forcing yourself. In the beginning, you're going to force yourself to speak, right? And with the time, you're going to, it helps you to develop your fluency over time. The more you speak, the more you listen to pronunciation, the more you're going to develop your fluency. And this is the main thing and the goal of every one of you, each one of you who is watching me right here behind this camera. Your goal is to achieve fluency. There is no secret, you guys. Speak, speak, speak until, subhanallah, you're going to get this fluency. Yeah, like after speaking a lot, you know what is the seventh step? The seventh step right here is all about practicing pronunciation, right? So practice pronunciation and intonation. Right here, when you speak a lot, when you try to speak a lot, don't focus on pronunciation in the beginning. Just try to unstuck and overcome this fear. Then, when you feel yourself, you're ready to maybe start practicing with pronunciation and also like focusing on pronunciation. Right here, it's going to help you to get fluency, as I told you. Okay, so let me tell you why. Because when you speak with a great pronunciation, it keeps listeners engaged and captivated by your speech, right? So right now, I don't say that my pronunciation is like, wow, but I have a great pronunciation, and this is why I'm captivating you and you're listening to me, because it keeps you engaged. So focus also on pronunciation. And also pronunciation can boost your confidence when you speak with a great pronunciation. I'm not going to lie to you. It's great because it gave you this confidence, like, I know how to pronounce words. Not all of the words, but like, you know, when you are at a certain level, it's great, really great. And final idea is to track your progress. You guys, it is important to track your progress, because sometimes I have some students telling me like, I don't feel that I'm like developing or progressing in this language. And I'm like, did you track your progress? Did you see even if you progressed or if you developed something? Sometimes I notice that some students don't really notice that they developed and that they progressed, because they don't do this, like track your progress. It can keep you motivated. You're like, oh, in the beginning I wasn't understanding this, now I'm much confident, I can pronounce words well. Track your progress. It can also help you to see if your learning strategy is working or not. Maybe the strategies that you are implementing in your learning journey are not as that efficient as possible, you know? So when you track your progress, you say, maybe I'm focusing more on listening. Let's try to focus more on practicing, right? So this is the importance of tracking your progress. So this was today's video, how to master your English language as a native. I really hope that these steps were beneficial for you, that you get maybe some ideas that you don't know before. Tell me on comments if it was useful for you or not, or what did you think about this video. And so happy again to see you. And I'm going to read your comments right now. So comment. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up to become a part of our family. And I'm going to say, see you soon. Bye.